And by the way, if you Jokic, let's understand the level of frustration. This is a guy that averaged over 35 on better than 65% shooting and 38% from three-point range in the regular season. He's been shooting 15% from three over the last 2 games. He has been a shell of himself. He is not 100%. We know that. So that part of that is killing him. That Jokic can't be Jokic.
All season long, the spotlight in the West has been locked on Oklahoma City and San Antonio. The Thunder racked up 64 wins. Victor Wembanyama led the Spurs to 62. Meanwhile, Denver quietly sat in 5th place, barely getting a mention. And honestly, why would they? They traded away Michael Porter Jr. They fired their championship coach. Nikola Jokic went down with a knee injury in December. Everything pointed to a team whose window was starting to shut. Then something flipped. Denver closed the season on a 12-game winning streak, something only 3 teams have done in the last 75 years heading into the playoffs. They jumped from 5th to 3rd. Jokic casually averaged another triple-double. Jamal Murray earned his first All-Star selection. The team everyone had written off suddenly became the one nobody wanted to see. But to really understand why this version of Denver feels different, you have to rewind to when everything fell apart. With just 3 games left in the regular season, the Nuggets made a shocking move. They fired head coach Michael Malone and general manager Calvin Booth. Just like that, the coach who delivered their first championship in 2023 was gone. The architect of the roster gone too. 2 years after a title, Denver tore down its entire leadership structure. Assistant coach David Adelman stepped in as interim and didn't just stabilize things, he led the Nuggets to a Game 7 battle against Oklahoma City in the 2nd round. The Thunder would go on to win the championship, but Adelman had already made his case. He got the full-time job. Now, Jokic's prime was being handed over to a first-time head coach and a completely reshaped front office. And the changes didn't stop there. On the very first day of free agency, Denver made a bold move. They traded Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 23-2 first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Cameron Johnson. It divided the fan base instantly. Porter was a key piece of the 2023 title run, arguably the most gifted scorer on the team outside of Jokic and Murray, but he came with a heavy price tag, constant injury concerns, and inconsistent production, and even he saw it coming. Back in November, Porter admitted it himself: if they didn't win, changes were coming. Denver followed through. Cameron Johnson arrived averaging 18 points per game while shooting 39% from 3. He cost the $17 million less, brought better defense, and fit more naturally alongside Jokic. Still, this wasn't a safe move, it was a bet. Denver was giving up proven championship production for potential and flexibility, but they weren't finished. Bruce Brown returned on a 1-year deal, bringing back the versatile glue guy from their title run. Tim Hardaway Jr. signed for the veteran minimum, adding instant scoring off the bench, and Jonas Valanciunas came over from Sacramento, giving Jokic the most reliable backup center of his career. This wasn't just a tweak. Denver rebuilt the roster from top to bottom, and in the process, created the deepest team of the Jokic era. The Athletic didn't sugarcoat it. This version of Denver had their clearest path back to a championship since 2023. On paper, everything made sense. It looked like they had finally figured it out. And early on, it wasn't just theory. It was showing up in real time. This revamped Nuggets squad didn't need a long adjustment period. They came out aggressive from day one. Denver jumped to a franchise best 17-6 start and posted the top offensive rating in the league, a 121.0. The new additions weren't just blending in, they were elevating everything. Cameron Johnson's shooting stretched the floor in ways Michael Porter Jr. never quite did, opening up clean driving lanes. Jonas Valanciunas added a level of toughness and presence off the bench. Bruce Brown brought back that familiar championship blue, and Tim Hardaway Jeter gave them instant offense, lighting up second units as the microwave scorer they'd been missing for years. Under David Adelman, this team played loose, confident, and unpredictable, and somehow it still felt like they hadn't hit their ceiling yet. Then came Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025. Nuggets national TV, everyone watching, and Nikola Jokic delivered something the league had never seen before: 56 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists, an overtime win in the first 55-15-15 game in NBA history. Not just a franchise record, not just a modern era milestone. In the entire history of the league, no one had ever put together a stat line like that. It was more than dominance, it was surreal. The kind of performance that didn't just boost an MVP case, it ended the debate. The kind of night where you sit there thinking this team might actually be unbeatable. 4 days later, everything unraveled. Jokic hyperextended his left knee. Just like that, the momentum disappeared. He missed the next 16 games, about a month without the best player in the world. And it didn't stop there. Christian Braun was already sidelined with an ankle injury. Aaron Gordon went down with a hamstring strain. Cameron Johnson suffered a bone bruise in his right knee that kept him out for weeks. At one point, Denver was without 4 starters. What had looked like the deepest roster of the Jokic era suddenly felt fragile. When Jokic finally returned on January 30th, Serbian Heritage night, he put up 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists against the Clippers, even on a minutes restriction. That should have been the reset. But it wasn't. The rhythm never fully came back. The team that once looked like the class of the West started drifting. After the All-Star break, inconsistency took over. They slipped from fighting for the second seed all the way down to 5th. And just like that, the narrative flipped. Denver had peaked too soon, they couldn't stay healthy. This roster wasn't built to last. And if you looked at the standings around mid-March, it was hard to argue otherwise. Denver was stuck in 5th, sliding at the worst possible time. Felt like the season was slipping through their fingers again. But what happened? No one saw it coming. No one. March 18, 2026. Denver Fall Fist with 118. They dropped to 4-2-28, still sitting 5th in the West, behind the Lakers, out of rhythm and running out of time. That loss, it was the last one they would have all season, starting March 21 through April 13. The Nuggets went on a tear, 12 straight wins to close it out. And this wasn't some easy stretch against bottom feeders. They went straight through contenders. Once in a 136-134 thriller at home, then again 28-118 in San Antonio. This was a 62-win second-seeded Spurs team. They didn't just beat Oklahoma City, they dominated them. A 27-107 statement win against the best team in basketball. They handled business on the road in Phoenix, beat Portland twice, outgunned Dallas 142-135 in a shootout, and added 2 more wins over Utah just to pile it on. In 5 of those 12 games, Denver dropped 130 points. This wasn't just a hot offense, it was overwhelming, relentless, unstoppable. And yes, Nikola Jokic was at the center of it, but this run had another driving force, Jamal Murray. This was the year he stopped being the supporting piece and stepped fully into the spotlight. Career best numbers, 25.4 points and 7.1 assists per game. His first All-Star appearance, a finalist for Clutch Player of the Year, and when the playoffs started, he backed it up immediately. Game 1 against Minnesota, 30 points, a perfect 16 for 16 from the free throw line. Team high for 13, that's not a sidekick performance, that's a star taking over, and yet somehow Jokic still managed to make all of it feel normal. 27.7 points, 12.9 rebounds, 10-7 assists, averaging a triple-double for the second straight season. He became the first player since Wilt Chamberlain in 1968 to lead the league in both rebounds and assists in the same year. His 198 career triple-doubles pushed him past Oscar Robertson for second all-time, now only trailing Russell Westbrook, 6 straight years as an MVP finalist, chasing his 4th award, territory reserved for names like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan. And somehow he still found ways to do things we've barely seen before. April 6th against Portland, 35 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 5 steals in overtime. That stat line, it's only been done once before since steals were officially tracked in 1973. The 12-game surge didn't just save their season, it completely flipped it. Denver jumped from 5th to 3rd, past the Lakers, and avoided the play-in entirely. And in doing so, just the 3rd team in the last 75 years to enter the playoffs on a 12-game win streak, the 1973 Bucks, the 2018 Sixers, and now the 2026 Nuggets. So when you zoom out and look at everything, this isn't just a team that got hot at the right time. This is a team that got hit from every angle, trades, injuries, doubt, and came out the other side stronger than before, more complete, more dangerous. And that's exactly why the rest of the league should be worried. So the real question is, what exactly makes this version of the Denver Nuggets so terrifying? This isn't just about a win streak. It's not just momentum or confidence. There are real, structural reasons why this team is built for playoff basketball, and it starts with the most dangerous two-man action in the league, the Nikola Jokic Jamal Murray pick and roll. For years, teams had a blueprint against Denver: swarm Jokic, force the ball out of his hands, and live with the results. Make someone else beat you. That strategy doesn't work anymore. Not with this version of Jamal Murray. Send help at Jokic, and Murray makes you pay with 25 a night. Stay attached to Murray, and Jokic dissects your defense with double-digit assists. Pick your poison, and either way you're in trouble. Game 1 against Minnesota was the perfect example. Jokic finished with 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. Right beside him, Murray dropped 30. When both of them are locked in at the same time, there isn't a defensive scheme in basketball that can slow it down. None. But what truly separates this team from previous Denver squads in the Jokic era is everything around them. The depth. Aaron Gordon is putting up 16.2 points per game while anchoring the defense and doing all the dirty work Jokic needs beside him. Cameron Johnson caught fire late in the season, shooting 43% from 3 over his final 26 games, providing elite spacing Denver never consistently had with Michael Porter Jr. Christian Braun has grown into a legitimate two-way starter on the wing and the bench. That's where things really shift. Tim Hardaway Jr. emerged as a 6th Man of the Year finalist, bringing instant scoring the second he steps on the floor. Bruce Brown returned and reintroduced that championship chemistry, the connective piece who understands exactly how to thrive next to Jokic, because he's already done it. And Jonas Valanciunas gave Denver something they've never truly had before, a backup center who can hold things together offensively when Jokic sits. The 2023 title team was elite, but this group might actually be deeper. Then you factor in experience. Jokic, Murray, and Gordon have made deep playoff runs together for years now. This core has been tested. This is their third postseason matchup with Minnesota in the last 4 years. At this point, these teams know each other inside out since the 2022-23 season. Denver holds a slight 15-14 edge over the Timberwolves across regular season and playoff games. This isn't just another series, it's a rivalry. And David Adelman isn't walking into this unprepared either. He already proved himself last year, pushing Oklahoma City to 7 games. Then there's the edge you can't measure. 3 Nuggets are finalists for major awards. Jokic for MVP, Murray for Clutch Player of the Year, and Hardaway for Sixth Man. That's not just recognition, that's motivation. This was a team sitting in 5th place in March, barely part of the conversation. That doubt, it hasn't gone anywhere, and it's fueling everything. Now, the obvious pushback. What about Oklahoma City and San Antonio? Yes, the Thunder won 64 games. Yes, the Spurs won 62. But during that 12-game run, Denver went straight through both of them. They blew out OKC by 20. They beat the Spurs in back-to-back matchups. So while they may not have the best record, they might have the most complete team. And in the playoffs, that's what actually matters. 3 years ago, Denver shocked the league and won it all. Since then, they've lost their head coach, their general manager, a key starter in Michael Porter Jeter. Their MVP missed significant time with injury, and somehow they've come out of all of it looking even more dangerous. If Nikola Jokic wins his 4th MVP, he joins a list that barely exists: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Bill Russell, and Wilt Chamberlain. That's it. That's the entire group, a champion. A 3-time MVP, averaging a triple-double for the 2nd straight season, something only Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook have ever done. At 30 years old, he might be playing the best basketball of his career. And somehow, the conversation around his all-time greatness still feels quieter than it should be. But whether Denver wins another title or not, this season already proved something important. As long as Nikola Jokic is in a Nuggets uniform, this team will always be what the rest of the NBA fears most: a group that can beat anyone, anywhere, at any time. Now it's just a matter of how far they go. Let me know in the comments where this Nuggets team ranks among the best of the Jokic era. And if you want more content like this, you already know what to do.